And a very pleasant good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the first Tornado Talk of the 2021 calendar year. Glad you're able to join us as we talk all things Brevard College Tornado athletics. Want to thank our sponsors right here on the top of the show: Arby's, BSN Sports, Cooper Construction, eGolf Ford of Brevard, Hampton Inn, Ingles, Jets Pizza, Mission Health, Pepsi, Triangle Stop, and Young Transportation. So glad you're able to join us on this edition of Tornado Talk, and glad to report that basketball season is officially underway at Brevard College, and we're joined this evening by the head coach of the men's basketball team, Coach Lee Burgess. Coach, thanks for joining the program.
Absolutely. Always glad to join you and be here. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Well, we did get the season underway, and 306 days was the count of the span of days in between intercollegiate varsity competition on the campus of Brevard College, covering all sports, obviously because of the COVID-19 pandemic. And thankfully that streak has, come to a close with the Tornadoes in action this weekend. Before we kind of get into the X's and O's side of things, Coach, can you kind of tell us from the basketball perspective what the fall semester was like through the holiday break? Obviously, dealing with all sorts of other situations that are frankly unprecedented, but then leading up ultimately to this season opening game that occurred this past Sunday.
Yeah, the fall was strange for us. We started practice in October, early October, maybe 10 days or so earlier than we normally would. But we knew we were not going to be playing any games in November or December. So we started practice without a game to really point to, knowing that we'd go all the way up to just in front of Thanksgiving, and then we'd be off for about a month, and then we'd come back and start playing. So, usually with basketball, you start in the middle of October. You've got 3 weeks to kind of prepare yourself for that first competition, and everything is super condensed, and you're pushing to get everything in on time and get your team ready to go. And there's just kind of that anxiousness that comes with, do we have enough time to get everything in? And that is just completely 180 degrees from that with this season. So going up, we practiced, like I said, beginning of October up till close to Thanksgiving, and, got some really good stuff done, got in a good place, I think. And then we let them go for a month, which is also completely abnormal for basketball. We usually get 1 or 2 days at Thanksgiving, and then a week and a half at the most at Christmas. But at that point at Christmas time, we've already played 8-9 games, and there's a lot of knowing who we are already. Roles are pretty established on the team in terms of who your go-to guys and who can you count on, and who needs a little work here or there. All that stuff is kind of put to bed at that point. And we hadn't played any games, and we let them go, and we bring them out for Christmas. And now we've got that time that we're used to, where we've got about 10 days before we're going to play, and let's knock the rust off. Let's get ourselves back in shape as quickly as we possibly can, and then get ready to go. So, we're thankful to be able to play. There are, I talk to my guys about this, number one, there's a lot of people that want to play college basketball just in a regular year that don't get that opportunity. And then number two, even in this year, there's a lot of people that want to play college basketball that are on college basketball teams that aren't getting the chance to play this year. So we're thankful for the opportunity to be able to play, and grateful for that. Now, as I'm sure we'll get into it, we just need to play a little bit better.
Well, and do want to let folks know kind of how the schedule lays out. There was a game this past weekend versus Greensboro. It technically was a non-conference game, even though Greensboro, of course, a fellow member of the USA South Conference. But USA South Conference play in earnest begins this Friday, and the USA South Conference teams are going to be matched up where they're going to be playing back-to-back Friday, Saturdays to minimize travel and that sort of thing, and to make sure all the COVID protocols are taken care of. Certainly a condensed schedule as well compared to what you're used to, Coach. Can you kind of talk about that as far as the schedule and perhaps the pluses and minuses of this format?
Yeah, so the schedule is going to be different for us to deal with. So we'll have Covenant coming in here on Friday, play them again on Saturday. We never do that. We never play the same team back-to-back days at the same venue even. So that's going to be different. I think there's going to be a lot of psychology that goes on with those back-to-back same opponent type of games. How do you rally yourself from one game to the next against the same opponent? We really wanted to get a game in before we started conference play against Covenants, and just because of all the protocols that needed to be in place, it made sense for us to really try to find a USA South opponent, knowing that they would be operating under the same protocols that we had. Greensboro College was an option for us that we really, really wanted to play and kind of get a sense of where we were heading into our conference schedule. The USA South left it up to each member institution how they wanted to handle non-conference games in November and December. Brevard College chose that we were not going to play anything in November and December. Greensboro College just decided that they were going to allow their team to play. So when we played Greensboro on Sunday, this was their 9th time to be on the floor together as a team. And I think that showed a lot. They're good, first of all, and then beyond that, they are pretty firmly rooted in how they want to play, where they can be successful, how they can be successful, who are the guys they can count on, all those things that I mentioned beforehand. They've got that in place. So going into the game, yesterday, I know you and I talked a little bit off air. I mean, I felt like I wanted to have my expectations realistic, depending, on what we were going to see from our end. We've got a lot of getting better to do, for sure. But some of it is definitely to be understood, I think, given where we are in the season and in our roster. Our 2 most veteran guys and experienced guys were out with injuries in the game. They didn't play. So our starting 5 combined with our second string, next 5 off the bench, none of those guys played meaningful minutes for us last year. And with how we play, there is no real substitute for those game reps, just in terms of the heat of competition, being able to stay in the action that we want, being able to communicate all the things that we need to communicate. I think we'll take some hopefully some big steps forward here over the next couple of weeks as we get ourselves immersed in some games and have some game footage to really go back and teach from. I wish it had been a little bit better yesterday. I thought it would be a little bit disjointed. It was a little more disjointed than I thought it was going to be. So we've got some work to do. As I try to temper my expectations, perhaps even try to temper them, they were still a little bit too high. I don't know, but we've got some getting better to do. We've got the group that can do it. This group is a hungry group. They're a talented group. They're a coachable group, but they're a young and inexperienced group as well. And so I've got to put on my patient hat when I'm dealing with them for sure. But striking that balance of I'm patient, but we've got the 2-time defending division champs coming into our place in 3 days. So there's not a lot of time here to figure this out. We got to figure it out in a hurry and take some big steps forward.
Yeah, certainly a tough result, 92-53 to Greensboro on Sunday. I did see some marked improvement with this young roster you're talking about, second half versus first half, and that showed on the scoreboard as well. Is there something to that as far as the team kind of getting a little tighter and kind of snapping out a little bit there in the second half?
I do think that I think right now in our season, I think we're going to see incremental improvement almost in real time, as we go through the season, as these games are really condensed and back-to-back against the same opponent. I mean, I think we're going to see development right before our eyes. We talked about that at halftime. We did. We said, listen, guys, obviously not the 20 minutes that we wanted. This is we've got a lot of season left, a lot of conference season left. Let's go make sure that this 20 is better than the last 20. Here's the things we need to focus on to make that happen. And I thought we did a good job of trying to take that to heart. And I remember sitting in a timeout at about the 10-minute mark in the second half and said, listen, that 10 was better than the previous 20. Now let's go make this 10 better than the last 10. So trying to narrow the focus, giving them those not too many things to worry about. Let's focus on these small items, make sure we get good at these, and I think we'll get some improvement going. And I do think that paid off. I do think our guys took that to heart. I do think we got better in the second half, and now we still have a lot more steps to take.
Well, a grand total of 14 tornadoes made their debut on Sunday. So at least that's out of the way. These guys have now, many of them making their collegiate debut as,
right.
True freshmen and that kind of thing. So, nowhere to go but up. There's no
Yep.
doubt about it. And, it's going to be fun to watch this group progress. Coach, for those who didn't see the game on Sunday, and this will be their very first time seeing this edition of the Tornadoes, can you kind of tell folks a little bit the style of play they can expect to see, and maybe even a couple of individuals that they should keep an eye out for?
Sure. Yep. So offensively, we're a team that we want to share the ball. And we don't want our guys hunting shots. We predicate our offense based on the defense can take away something, but they can't take away everything. And so however the defense is playing us, we should have a counter to take advantage of that. Getting rooted in that is a big part of their development. It takes game reps to get fluid in that. And not from a selfish standpoint, but something that players have to fight when they're new to this system is, I haven't shot the ball in 2 or 3 minutes. I need to get a shot up there. Again, not for a selfish. I don't think we've got selfish guys on our team. We've got team guys, but you just get that itch that I need to produce something. I need to help the team. I need to make my impact. To help the team out. And that really runs counter to how we want to play offensively. You can't really hunt shots. So I hope when people tune in offensively, they see a team that's willing to be unselfish, willing to share the ball. We're going to get quality looks, whether it be around the basket or from beyond the arc. There's some mid-range stuff to how we play, but not a lot. Most of our stuff, we want to be around the basket or behind the arc. And then a team that's really functioning well together and enjoying playing with each other. Defensively, we gave up a lot. We gave up too much. They got the ball going downhill too much against us. We've got to shore that up, be better defensively one-on-one. But when people tune in, I hope they see 5 guys playing defense, communicating with each other, having their teammates back when they need help defensively, but really taking pride in their one-on-one matchup to keep their guy in front of them and force contested, difficult shots. We're not a defense that really thrives on turning you over. We'll create some turnovers, we will, but that's what we want. Our philosophy is we want to make you take a contested, difficult shot and then go rebound the ball. So I hope that's what people are able to see when they're watching us.
You mentioned earlier a little bit about the strong credentials of Covenant men's basketball program. Can you tell us a little more? I'm sure you've already started studying them and preparing for Friday's matchup.
Right. Yeah, they've got 2 of the better players in the league on their team. Chris Barnett and Will Crumley are really good players. Barnett is a junior for them. Will Crumley's a senior. Crumley's had some All-America accolades attached to his name. He's a tough matchup for anybody in this league. He's got great size, about 6'8", 6'9". I don't know what they list him at. He's about 6'8", 6'9". He's got perimeter skill to him. He's a focal point of what they want to do. And because of his size around the basket, there's not many people in the league that can match up with his size, just his height around the basket. But then his ability to stretch the floor out to the perimeter makes him a really tough matchup. Chris Barnett is somebody who has made numerous high-pressure shots for them. They've got an All-American on their team in Will Crumley. When they need a bucket, they go to Chris Barnett, and he usually delivers. It's a team that likes to shoot threes. Will Crumley is good around the basket. Barnett's good off the bounce. A lot of their other guys that they've got are really good around the perimeter. So they stretch you with those other three guys that can make shots. That opens up angles for Barnett to get by, and it opens up around the basket for Crumley to get post touches. It's an experienced group. Barnett, Crumley's been there his whole time. Barnett, this is now his second year. They're a lot of their role players have been there for a year or two as well. So it's an experienced group. They've got some really good wins under their belt already. Beat a Division II team, Trevecca Nazarene, over in Nashville. We're filling out our preseason poll right now. I think they will be picked to win our side of the league again. It's just a really, really good team.
Well, we invite fans to follow along with the Brevard College Tornadoes men's basketball program all season long. Most viewers of this program probably saw the announcement, no spectators being permitted to the games. That's a USA South Conference edict. And as such, we're going to do our best to provide to you free of charge live stream broadcasts of every men's basketball contest. Next up would be this matchup against Covenant on Friday night at 7 p.m. And then, as we alluded to, they'll play again, the Tornadoes and Covenant, on Saturday at 3 p.m. Easiest way to do that, Brevard College Tornadoes YouTube channel. Just search that out on YouTube, Brevard College Tornadoes. Subscribe, hit that little bell so you get all the notifications when the broadcasts go live, and you can sit back and enjoy the Tornadoes from the luxury of your home. Before we bring in some student athletes, Coach Burgess, any final thoughts or message to NATO Nation?
No, yeah, appreciate everybody tuning in. It sounded like we had a lot of people watching the game yesterday, which is great. I appreciate the people tuning in. Stick with us here. Got a young group that's going to keep getting better. So look forward to you guys continuing to tune in, and hopefully here next year getting you guys back face to face. But we appreciate the support. Keep it up.
Very good, Coach. Hang with us just a moment here. We're going to invite in a couple of your student athletes as they enter the virtual Tornado Talk here, and joined by Ladji Samoura on the bottom left corner and David Seeley on the bottom right. Coach, before we let you go, can you tell our audience a little bit about these two student athletes?
Sure, absolutely. Would love to. So David Seeley is a sophomore for us. From the great state of Florida, I'm sure he would say. And so David's done a great job, along with Hayden Castle, really spearheading, leading the group through our preseason stuff, making sure the group is tied together, making sure expectations are known. Lightning quick guy with the ball in his hands, lightning quick on ball defender. Is obviously has a very expanded role for us on the floor compared to what he had last year. Got some foul trouble early yesterday, and that limited some of his time. But I think on the time that he was out there, guys got to see what David is capable of. But he has really shown through from a leadership side, which has been great. And then we're going to need him on the floor as much as we can get him as well. Ladji Samoura is a transfer in for us from Fayetteville, North Carolina. He went to Northwest Ohio for a couple years before transferring down here. Very talented basketball player, very high basketball IQ, and still getting his command of our offense. And once he gets command of that, Ladji can score the ball a lot of different ways. He's going to be a big weapon for us. We're excited to have both of them part of our program. As I've talked about our youth and inexperience, we don't have any seniors on our roster. So David being a sophomore, Ladji being a junior, they're going to be a big part of the development this year and beyond for sure.
Very good. Well, Coach, thanks for joining us this evening on Tornado Talk. We'll see you on Friday for the matchup versus Covenant. And go Tornadoes. Thanks for joining the show.
That was good. All right. Thanks, guys. See y'all later.
Very good. And there he goes, head coach Lee Burgess, getting us started on tonight's Tornado Talk. Well, David and Ladji, thanks for joining the show. Let me introduce to you guys one more time to our audience here. David Seeley wears number 2 on the Boshemer Gymnasium floor. He's a sophomore guard from Deltona, Florida, Deltona High School. Made his first career start this past weekend, so congratulations on that, David, and USA South All-Academic Performer. David, thanks for joining the show.
Thanks for having me, Phil.
And Ladji Samoura, as Coach mentioned, a junior guard from Fayetteville, North Carolina, Fuquay Varina High School. I love trying to pronounce that, Ladji. It's a cool name for a school.
Yeah,
But you transferred
people
in
butcher
from.
all the time.
Did I say it okay? Transfer from
Yeah,
Northwestern
you didn't butcher it at
Ohio.
all.
Very good, very good. And you as well made
Yes,
your
sir.
Brevard College debut this past weekend. Ladji, we'll start with you. How'd it feel to finally get some game action in a Tornado uniform?
It's been a long time coming for real because coronavirus kind of stopped everything. We've just been practicing against each other. It felt good to play against another team finally.
Yeah, no doubt. And, David, a long road to get to this point as far as you guys actually playing in some real competition. And Coach mentioned, your leadership qualities throughout the fall semester. Can you kind of tell us, if you can sum it up, the journey that you guys have been to get to this point?
Well, this has been a tough journey. So having not played in the game since last February, a lot of our guys their first college experience. So we've been trying to prepare each other as best as we can and simulate what we might see. But we had trials in this early game, but we're going to bounce back and we're going to grow from it.
Yeah, but I tip my cap to you guys. I know how hard you guys have been working, and a lot of it probably felt like it was, hey, are we ever going to get to play kind of feeling, but you guys kept on grinding throughout the fall, and a lot of that came from within. You guys were pushing each other, and so I congratulate you for making it this far, and I'm sure it feels good to be underway. David, we'll stick with you. Can you kind of tell us a little bit? Obviously, you guys are basically, with the women's basketball team, the only people here on campus from a student athlete or from a student standpoint. Classes haven't started back up, but what's the the holiday break, and what has that been like? What have you guys been up to on a day-to-day basis preparing as a men's basketball team?
Well, as a team, we had a condensed break compared to other students, but when we came back, we went straight into once we got tested for COVID, of course, results came back negative. We got straight into 2-a-day practices, going hard at it, getting in the weight room, trying to just sharpen our tools, get ready to play.
Very good. And Ladji, you spent a couple years up at Northwestern Ohio University, but you're closer to home now. You're back in the state of North Carolina. How does it feel to be back here in your home state and closer to home?
Definitely.
And how's Brevard been treating you so far?
It's been a nice experience coming back, being closer to home, just being closer to family. Most of the time, it was kind of hard getting back over here from all the way Ohio, like all the way in Ohio. It's usually a flight to get all the way over there. So being closer to home is just a 4-hour drive, and it's easier to see family and just keep in contact with friends over the time.
Yeah, no doubt. And David, tell us a little bit from your perspective as a Floridian. You're in your second season here, but tell us about being a Brevard College student athlete. Yet you're from Florida, so a little different up here. It certainly doesn't get as cold as it is tonight down there where you're from.
No, it's definitely something to adjust to. Just whenever you want to step outside, getting hit with the cold, or you might run into some snow. But being in Brevard, the area is beautiful. It's different scenery for me being in the mountains, and I'm enjoying it.
Now, would like viewers to get to know you guys a little more and your interest off the court. Let's start with the academic side of things, your studies. David, tell us what you're focused on in terms of academics. Have you chosen a major so far? And, what are your goals with your degree ultimately from Brevard College?
Yeah, so I'm a an exercise science major. I declared last spring, and it's been going well for me. I just want to graduate with as high a GPA as I can. And I might declare a minor, but I haven't decided yet.
Well, you're certainly off to a good start, earning that USA South Academic All-Conference nod last season. Congratulations on that. And Ladji, I know you're in your first year here at Brevard College, but have you zeroed in on a major in kind of an academic focus?
Yes, my major is business. I switched over from accounting because I was an accounting major at my old school. So the closest thing to it was business at Brevard. So it's been an easy transition with the lessons that I've taken already.
That's great to hear that you found a good fit and that the transition, came easy for you. Before I want to let you guys go, I do want to talk a little bit about the week ahead here. A formidable opponent coming here to the Boshemer Gymnasium, Covenant College. You guys have to play them twice. You play them on Friday night and again on Saturday afternoon. But you got all week to prepare here, and classes still haven't started up, so I'm sure you guys can really focus in. It is the USA South Conference opener as well, so these games certainly count towards those standings. David, we'll start with you. What's the focus this week for the team as you prepare for Covenant?
I feel like as a group, we got our jitters out, from the last weekend. Some guys that be in their first collegiate game, some guys their first time in the Brevard jersey. So we got that off of our shoulders, and we just have to take pride in defending home court and making a statement in the league. So I feel like we're ready to do that.
Ladji, can you add to what David said as far as preparation for Covenant?
Just kicking off of what he said, just basically getting used to each other. We already got the first game jitters out of the way. We're gonna go hard in practice this upcoming week and just prepare for one of the tougher teams in the conference.
Very good. Before I let you go, I always like giving student athletes the opportunity for any thank yous or shout outs you might want to give to someone who might be viewing the show live or perhaps will be tuning in later, or just someone who's helped you along the way. Ladji, you got any shout outs for us?
I just want to thank my parents, thank every coach and all my teammates that helped me get to this point. And last but not least, I thank God for even putting me into this position, able to play basketball, because I'm very fortunate to have this skill and gift to play basketball. And I just want to thank everybody that's supporting.
Great message here on the chat from Angela Castle. The Castle family watched the game, proud of how hard our guys fought. Do want to note, and Coach alluded to it a little bit, Hayden Castle was out for that season opener with an ankle injury. We hated to see him sidelined, but thank you to the Castle family for tuning in and cheering on the Tornadoes. David, before we let you go as well, shout outs, thank yous, anybody you want to tip a hat towards?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to my folks, my parents, always having my back, having positive things to say, and then constructive things to say after every game, after every situation. So I want to thank them and thank God for allowing me to be, playing, being able to be a student athlete. It's a blessing.
Very good. Well, David, Seeley, Ladji, Samoura, thank you very much for joining us tonight. And thank you guys for your leadership, your hard work. Not just, your hard work on the basketball court, but the whole student body, you guys included, had to practice the 3 W's all semester long, have to keep that going. You're getting tested for COVID all the time, all sorts of things that, you've got to do to make this season possible. And you guys are getting it done. So, on behalf of, everybody involved at Brevard College and the athletic department, I want to thank you guys as well. So keep up the good work, and we'll see you Friday night versus Covenant.
Sir, thank you, Phil.
Very good. David Seeley and Ladji Samoura of the men's basketball team. And we'll shift our focus now to the women's basketball, as the Tornadoes women's team is getting ready for their season opener. And joined now by head coach of women's basketball, Coach Donald Hudson. Coach Hudson, thanks for joining the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Phil. Thanks for having me. It's been a while. Glad to be back on the number.
Yes, glad to be back, and glad that we're inching closer to seeing some real competition for the Brevard College Tornadoes women's basketball team. Just to catch folks up, the team was supposed to start their season this past weekend on Sunday. There was a COVID-19 issue, just for the Brevard College community to know it wasn't with the Tornadoes, but the bottom line was the game got canceled on Sunday. So now the season opener is set for Friday in Decatur, Georgia versus Agnes Scott. Those will be back-to-back games, just like the men's side is doing, Friday and Saturday versus a USA South Conference opponent. So we're getting there, Coach. Before we kind of get into Friday's matchup, can you kind of talk what it's been like? I mean, obviously unprecedented times. Everybody knows that. But specifically for the women's basketball team, what was the fall like? What was the holiday break like? And, if you can kind of put in perspective, what you guys have been through heading into this season opener.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And absolutely. I know it's been tough on everybody. Tough on everybody. Thinking back to when we got started with our official practice back in October, we were able to get after it for about 2 to 4 weeks, and we put in our foundation. We laid our foundation. We didn't add too much. I just wanted to make sure the stuff that we were putting in would be the things that were going to help us win games, like our shell defensive principles and things like that. Put in some things offensively that we're going to run late in games. So we did that stuff for about 2 to 4 weeks, got our weights in and everything, and then we had the break, the month-long break. And what that really hurt was our conditioning levels. I'm pretty sure any team that takes a month off like that, when you get back, you're not going to be where you want to be. You're not going to be where you want to be. And so that's what we're working towards now. We're working toward getting our conditioning levels back up, getting those principles back down that we talked about before the girls left off a break. And it's some pros and its cons. They have the pros and its cons of not playing anyone yet, Phil. It's just like anything in life. We have the pros of it that we're able to concentrate on ourselves. It's all about us right now. Everything that we're putting in, it's us. It's Brevard. It's Brevard women's basketball. Now, we coming into this week, now we'll start to put in some Agnes Scott stuff, and we'll start to work up and prepare for what they're going to do. And the cons of it are just the girls just want to play. You get tired of seeing the same people every day competing against the same people and everything. You want to see another color jersey, and rightfully so. I'm ready to get back out there, get them the sideline, make some adjustments, in-game stuff like that. But that's where we are right now. We're pretty much working on ourselves. The next 2 days will be about us. Then we'll move on toward Agnes Scott.
An exciting roster, 7 returners, and you've got some newcomers as well. For those who are going to be experiencing the Tornadoes, this version of it for the first time, via live stream, and might be looking for a couple of individuals, but also just kind of a style of play that will define the Tornadoes. Can you preview this year's roster and the makeup of this year's team?
Yeah. It's going to be a group that we have a lot of veteran leadership, and along with that, we also have a lot of new faces out there. So I'm not going to get into everybody individually, just talk about each player, but as a group, we're led by our seniors right now. And they know that I'm going to ask a lot of them early in the season. We're bringing our freshmen and our sophomore and our juniors along. We're bringing them along. But this senior group, they've been through it all. This is my first class that I kind of recruited and watched them grow from freshmen to seniors. And I'm excited to get them out there, excited to see them finally put everything together, excited to watch them play together one last time. But like you said, man, Phil, it's a very exciting roster. Now, we're still figuring out how we want to play as a group. It's a lot of pieces right now. There's a lot of pieces that we're still trying to gel together and get everything meshed together. And I think once we do that, the sky's the limit, Phil. A lot of coaches say that, but I feel that. I feel like if this group can go out and compete, stay together, play together, I think we can do some things that we haven't done around here in a while.
One thing I haven't had the chance to talk to you much about, Coach, is, the Tornadoes are now official members of the USA South Conference and also official members of NCAA Division III. There was a transition period, and, the administration was able to, get a waiver and actually, bypass a year and make this process happen faster. But the bottom line is, there's some real significant end goals for this year's team, including, qualifying for that USA South Conference postseason tournament and ultimately even going even further than that. Is that something you guys have, discussed as a team, and or maybe is that something just in the back of your mind that you're keeping in your back pocket? Can you tell us about that side of things?
That's been something that we've talked about in this program for the last 3 or 4 years, just getting that opportunity to play in the postseason. That's something that not a lot of teams get. And unfortunately, the way things are going to be this year is going to be a smaller amount of teams going into the tournament. But we're here for it. We're going to go out there, put our best foot forward. And that's the goal. That's the goal. We're going to play as well as we can throughout the regular season, give ourselves a chance. You make the tournament. So you've been around basketball. Anything can happen. Anything can happen once you get into that tournament. It's one and done. And so that's something that we're working towards every day. But to get to that point, we've got to be really good tomorrow. We've got to have a really good practice tomorrow. We can't look toward the end of February and March right now. We can't skip any steps. We have to come in every day, put the work in, and get better and live with the end result, knowing that we did our best.
Speaking of tomorrow, it's a continuation of this game week heading into, the Agnes Scott matchup. And, classes still haven't started. So, the focus is clearly basketball for both the women's team and also the men's team, the only students on campus at the moment. Mm-hmm. Can you let folks in behind the curtain a little bit, as far as kind of day to day, hour to hour, what this week will look like for the student athletes?
Yes, sir. So we got back last week, and we had to do our testing and everything, passed all the testing and the protocols, and get everybody back out there. And what it looks like for us, we'll practice early in the mornings. And we started off last week. We started with 3-hour practicing. I have the time now. Like right now, I don't really have to take a day off with the team, so I can kind of have them to myself. And they don't like that, but we're getting after it. We're getting after it. But yeah, so we'll practice in the mornings, three solid hours. 3 solid hours. That's going over everything. And after that, we'll eat lunch. Later in the day, they'll have dinner, and we'll come back and do the same thing again tomorrow. Same thing again tomorrow. So it's nothing but it's basketball right now. And it's kind of one of my favorite times of the year. Even as a player, when I played basketball, this was a time that it's just no distraction. There's nothing else. It's just me and my team. We're bonding a little bit. We get to know each other a little bit, and we're practicing. We're getting better. And that's where we are. So this week, we'll practice. We practiced today, had a solid session today. We'll go tomorrow, Wednesday, and get ready for this weekend.
And then the road trip itself, can you tell us sort of the logistics of that and the schedule for the trip to Decatur, Georgia?
Yeah, so we play the same team on Friday and Saturday with the way the schedule is set up. So we'll go down. We'll probably leave here 10 on Friday, get on the bus, head down, grab some food, grab a pregame meal. We'll try to get to the arena about an hour and a half, 2 hours away from the game. Play the game, go out, compete, put our best foot forward, make sure that we leave something on the floor that we're proud of. After the game, we'll have our post-game meal, get into bed, get off our feet, because we're right back at it 2 o'clock the next day. We'll stay overnight in the hotel, get up, get pregame meal around 11 or 12 Saturday morning, and we'll head over to the arena. Get ready to go.
I spoke to Coach Burgess about this as well, but, certainly a highly unusual schedule the way it's laid out, where you're going to be playing every Friday and Saturday the same opponent on back-to-back nights. And you mentioned that as far as, beginning this weekend with Agnes Scott. Have you thought about that, pondered that, kind of, what that's going to mean for, yourself as a coach and, perhaps – strategies when it comes to, managing minutes and that kind of thing for the players?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. This will be the first time that we've had this many back-to-backs. We've had them in the past, but we've never had them like every weekend. We haven't had them every weekend like that. So it'll definitely be managing some minutes on the front end, and it'll be a lot of adjustments being made. You'll play the team. You'll go back to the hotel, you'll watch some film, and you'll try to make some adjustments on the fly. You don't really have a practice in between to get on the floor with your team and talk about how you want to do it. So the team is going to really have to lock in to what we're saying and internalize everything and be ready to adjust on the fly. And we'll have some wrinkles that we didn't show in the first game that we will show in the second game. And they just have to be ready for that. And from a coaching standpoint, Coach Hyde and I have to be on top of everything. And we will be.
Very good. Coach, we're going to invite in just a moment here the student athletes. But before we do, obviously it's taken a lot of work to get to this point. A message you may have for NATO Nation as far as, where you guys have been, where you're heading, and, anything else that might come to mind before we let you go, Coach?
Yeah, absolutely. I want to start by thanking everybody that had a hand in getting this season off the ground. It's been hard. It's been tough. And just putting the kids first. They want to play. And if we can keep everything safe, we'll get out there. But we'll stick to the protocols and everything. We'll adhere to the CDC warnings and everything. But we can play Let's go play. And thank you to everybody that had a hand in getting that. And to NATO Nation, let's go out. Let's have a good year. Let's have a good year. Basketball is starting off the season with everybody, but then we have our rest of our sports coming in, and we'll all be there supporting each other.
Very good. Well, be sure to follow the Tornadoes this weekend. We'll be giving you guys all sorts of coverage on social media and keeping NATO Nation up to speed as you're at Agnes Scott. And then home opener Friday and Saturday, the 22nd and 23rd. And while spectators aren't allowed, we're going to be providing an enhanced broadcast of every matchup here at the Boshemer Gymnasium, free of charge for NATO Nation to tune in. So we encourage folks to do that as well. And Coach, appreciate you joining the show. Hold on just one moment, because we're going to invite in your student athletes to join us right here on the show. So join in here to the virtual Tornado Talk. In the bottom left corner, Bailey Ray, and on the right corner, Shakirah Thompson. Coach, before we let you go, can you tell our audience a little bit about these two outstanding student athletes?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. These two are a part of that senior class that I talked about. They're a part of that senior class that I've kind of watched grow on and off the court. And I'm really excited to get them back out there. They know me, and they know the offense, they know the defense, they know the team like the back of their hands. And I really appreciate them, and I try to let them know that and make sure they understand that every day. I'm looking forward to getting them back out there and leading this group.
Very good. Well, Coach, best of luck this weekend this week as you continue to prepare for this weekend's opener versus Agnes Scott. We'll see you around campus. Go Tornadoes. Thanks for joining the show, Coach.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thanks for having me, Phil.
All right. And there he goes, Coach Donald Hudson. Great to talk some women's basketball with the head coach. And great to have with us now two student athletes from that women's basketball team. And as Coach mentioned, two seniors. We have Shakirah Thompson out of Atlanta, Georgia, Hughes High School. The senior here for her senior year, which is getting going this week in earnest. Shakirah, thanks for joining the show.
Thanks for having me, Phil.
And also with us, Bailey Ray, the senior from nearby Hendersonville High School. Great to have you on Tornado Talk tonight, Bailey. Thanks for joining the show.
Thanks for having me.
Well, ladies, I want to congratulate you guys for making it this far, because this has been a journey unlike any other, as you guys know, as far as getting through the fall semester, dealing with all the new protocols, dealing with a season that was postponed, but you're almost there, as far as getting this thing going in earnest, in a game on Friday scheduled at Agnes Scott. Shakirah, we'll start with you. Can you kind of sum up what the journey has been like for the women's basketball team? You guys staying motivated and keeping things going, as the fall, kept on ticking away, but now you're here.
Yes, it's pretty difficult because we didn't know, like towards when we first got here, we didn't know if we were going to be playing or if we weren't. So it was kind of a hectic time once we got in the swing of things. Everything started coming together, and we just have to keep each other motivated. We'll have team meetings just to make sure everyone's on the same page, so that we're all coming to the same conclusion at the end of the day.
And Bailey, your thoughts on that same topic? What kept you guys motivated throughout the fall?
I think that we come in with big goals before this had even happened. And so I think those goals prior have motivated us this entire time.
Yeah, no doubt. And again, I'm very impressed with you guys and all the student athletes on campus, for how hard you guys have been working to make this a reality. Can you talk a little bit, I love letting the audience know sort of what it's like to be a student athlete. And, this is a little bit unusual at the moment because you and the men's basketball team are the only people here on campus, these last couple of weeks and this week. Can you kind of tell folks what day to day it's like, say this week, as far as, continuing your preparation? What's a day in the life of Shakirah Thompson like?
Well, like Coach said, practice early in the morning around 9:30, and we'll go as a team. We'll go eat lunch, and then we'll come back. Some of us may eat as a team, and the others may go to their houses or anything like that. And then we'll get dinner together. Excuse me. And then we'll just chill or whatever, and then we'll go back to our rooms and get ready for the next day, do it all over again.
Sounds to me, Bailey, that there might be a silver lining here as far as you guys, really getting closer as a team and, getting to know each other even better as good friends as well. Is that the case?
Definitely. I think that this has been a time where we've all been able to come together and spend quality time with one another and support one another through different difficulties. And so I definitely think it's been, kind of bringing us together in a way.
Well, let's talk a little basketball, if we may. It is Tornado Talk, and we got a lot of sports fans out there. And so, Shakirah, we'll start with you. I was doing a little research for the show, and you may not know this, but you set your season high in points last year against the same opponent you're going to be facing on Friday. You scored 21 against Agnes Scott last year on January 8th, right around this time in the calendar. Do you remember that performance when you broke that 20-point mark?
Yeah, it was electrifying. It was nice having a team corral me every time I got the ball. Everybody would stand up and hold their threes up, and it just felt really good to come be as a team and just everyone be behind me during that time.
And what are some things you've perhaps been working on your game individually, between last season and this season?
Well, definitely I've been working on range. That's my biggest part was being able to shoot from deeper out, not being as guardable. And a lot of people will play right on the 3-point line. I like to kind of take a step back off the 3-point line. So I've been working on that a lot. Very
good. And Bailey Ray, you had a very active freshman year, but I know, you had some tough injuries and, we're excited to have you back, this year as you're, head into your senior season. Can you tell us a little bit, and perhaps for the audience who might not be aware of exactly your journey, sort of what your career has been like here?
Yeah. So at the start of my sophomore year, I tore my ACL. And so I tried to come back last year and I just wasn't all the way ready, but luckily we have a really great training staff here and they've really helped me come a very long ways, and I'm super excited to get back out there.
Outstanding. Yeah, we're thrilled to have you back and can't wait to see you in action. Can you describe folks a little bit who maybe never seen you play, what your game is like?
Yeah, so I think that I could play different roles. I could come out and shoot, or I could go inside and post up some, big on rebounding and defense and shot blocking, just whatever, the team needs me to do so that we can be successful.
And Shakirah, Bailey coming back and being part of this whole formula, a big plus for the Tornadoes, correct?
Yes, it's so much better seeing her on the court than on the sideline because she really brings a big leadership presence when she's on the court.
Outstanding. Would like to talk a little bit off the court with you two as well. Can you tell folks a little bit about both your academics and perhaps extracurricular, what you might have going on? Shakirah, kind of tell us what your goals are as you head towards graduation and what has kept you busy here on campus.
Well, I've been pretty much in the classrooms, practice, so things in the classroom, and I've been extracurricular. I'm the president of BSU, and that's kind of keeping me pretty busy. And I'm in SAC as well, so everything's kind of coming together. Once you figure out your schedule, it's not really that hard. And after graduation, I plan to just work with my father in the marketing side of his business. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
SAC, the Student Athlete Advisory Committee, and BSU, the Black Student Union. Can you tell us a little more about those two organizations and what you guys were up to during the fall semester?
Fall semester for SAC, we did a lot of volunteering and helping out around campus because it's not really things you can do off campus right now because of COVID. And Black Student Union, we pretty much just we hosted a protest for the people that were killed during the summertime and even anything else that anyone else wanted to protest for. And walked downtown and around the school, and it was really nice because some of the teams came out and kind of support what we had going on.
Very good. Yeah, very well organized. And Shakira, I know you were a big part of all that. Bailey Ray, can you tell us your interest off the court, whether in the classroom or elsewhere?
Yeah, so I am an exercise science major, getting a coaching minor as well, and also a teacher's license. So I'm looking to coach and teach after school. So.
And is basketball coaching in specific, kind of where your head's at?
Definitely.
Very good. Well, you've got some good brains on the basketball coaching side to lean on in Coach Hudson and also Coach Taylor Spangler. So, best of luck with that journey, Bailey, and best of luck to you as well, Shakira. Seniors, so we can't wait to see you guys in action on the court, and certainly excited about your final semester here at Brevard College. Before I let you go, I do want to give every student athlete the opportunity to give any shout outs or thank yous you might have, someone who might be tuned into the show tonight or watching it on replay, or just somebody you might want to thank for what they've done in your journey along the way. Shakira, we'll start with you. You got any shout outs for us?
Well, yeah, I like to shout my parents and my family out because without them, I wouldn't be where I am today. And I like to shout Coach out for building character on and off the court. It really helped out.
Very good. Same opportunity for you, Bailey. Anyone you'd like to thank or give a shout out to?
Yeah, I would like to shout out my family as well. I would also like to thank the coaches for just never giving up on me, and the training staff for just working with me. And I'm super excited, and I feel very thankful to them for all of the support that they've given me.
Very good. Well, great job tonight on Tornado Talk, ladies. We cannot wait to see you all in action, and I know you've been working very hard to get to this point. And Tornadoes will begin their regular season with a game scheduled at Agnes Scott this Friday. They play Agnes Scott again on Saturday, and then they'll host Piedmont here at the Boschmer Gymnasium. And while no spectators are permitted due to the COVID-19 pandemic protocols, we will be providing live streams of every home matchup free of charge here. And want to invite NATO Nation to tune into the YouTube page, Brevard College Tornado Athletics. Best thing to do is just subscribe to that YouTube page, hit that little bell that gives you all those reminders, and it'll pop right up on your notifications when we go live with the broadcast. So that's your best bet if you want to, follow the women's basketball team and all of Brevard College Tornado Athletics from a broadcasting standpoint. Want to thank our sponsors, Arby's, BSN Sports, Cooper Construction, eGolf Ford of Brevard, Hampton Inn, Ingalls, Jets Pizza, Mission Health, Pepsi, Triangle Stop, and Young Transportation. Thank you to our sponsors for their support of Brevard College basketball and Brevard College athletics. And be sure to follow the Tornadoes on Twitter and Instagram at BC Tornadoes. As we mentioned, subscribe to Brevard College Tornadoes on YouTube. Also SoundCloud if you prefer, the audio format. Brevard College Tornadoes is the place to be there. And be sure to like Brevard College Tornado Athletics on Facebook. Well, thank you to all of our guests tonight, Shakira Thompson and Bailey Ray, also from the men's basketball team, Ladji Samoura and David Seeley. We had Coach Donald Hudson and Coach Lee Burgess on the show as well. And thank those behind the scenes, including producer Patrick Hall. For the first time in 2021, and we want to thank you for joining us for this edition of Tornado Talk. Go Tornadoes!